Hello. Hi.
Hello, man. How are you?
Oh yeah, I'm good. I'm doing very okay.
So, how's your trip?
Yeah, my trip was great.
Yeah. So, what was the seminar about?
Okay, it was a summit
Okay.
actually.
Okay.
Yeah,
Summit.
yes. It was a summit for just a second.
So, Ebo.
Yeah.
So, thank you for for being here today. Of course, you missed the last panel. You were supposed to be one of my guests on that panel, but you were in Botswana. So tell us, what did you go to do in Botswana, and what stories can you tell us?
Okay. Yes. Once again, I apologize for not making it to that panel. I looked so forward to having those conversations with the other minds on the panel. Unfortunately or fortunately, I had to be a guest at a delegate at the Forbes Under 30 Summit in Botswana, right? So that was a really great outing for me. It was about 45 days of
45 days. Wow.
yes, yes, of conversing with young Africans who are doing phenomenally well, around the globe. And we had captains of industries from around the world come to speak to us. We were trying to evaluate the entrepreneurial opportunities in Africa. It's becoming obvious, like I said last time on the podcast, that the attention of the whole world is drawn to Africa.
Yeah.
And part of the reason for this is our robust, vibrant collection of young minds, right, who are serving the labor market, the global labor market. So a lot of people are getting interested in what's happening in Africa, organizations, businesses, and Africa herself is opening up to foreign investment, to learning more from global communities, to that expansion. So I believe Forbes deemed it fit to have a platform where young African creatives and captains of industry will come to communicate, network, get to meet each other while discussing key areas um, necessary for development of Africa. And I actually enjoyed the fact that Botswana was the location that was picked for
Okay.
for the for the summit, because there are a lot of things to consider when you look at Botswana, right? I did a thorough research, background study on Botswana. I wanted to understand why the interest of Forbes was in Botswana. So I found out that the major source of revenue for Botswana, it's actually gold,
Oh,
diamond. My apologies, diamond,
okay.
right? Yes. And also my research found that the diamond in Botswana is estimated to run out by 2015.
Hmm.
So it makes it highly imperative that they begin to expand the shores,
Yeah.
the shores and borders to other forms of entrepreneurial development to capture, their potentials and all of that. So the summit was really a great opportunity for me to understand what's happening in other parts of the world,
Yeah.
because I had lots of young people from different parts of Africa, young Africans from different parts of the world, and coming to share
Hmm.
their experiences, their products, their solutions, the industries that they are working to disrupt was phenomenal. I came back with a resolution. Some of my friends were asking me, what's your take home from this summit? I said, my conviction that Africa is ready to serve the world is more pronounced after this, summit, because I got to see young people passionate about building Africa. I got to discuss with them on their solutions, the kind of projects they are working on, what is motivating them. And I'm convinced that we're actually the solution to a lot of the problems that the world is facing.
I do agree. Yes.
Yeah.
I do agree. We have the potential. I very much agree. And this is why I have this podcast, because I want to talk. I believe Africa has so many potential leaders. We have a lot of leaders, but we still have a lot of potential leaders. You know, that's why I'm not looking to talk to the normal political leaders on the podcast. No, I want people, mostly young people like yourself. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I see me, I'm middle age now. Okay. I'm 50 now. So I don't believe that the future of Africa relies on people like me. Okay. Unfortunately, my generation, has missed the opportunity to push Africa forward. Okay. We didn't push it enough. Most of us were mostly interested in our personal careers. Okay. Now, I don't want your own generation to be like mine. Okay. That's why I talk about all these things. I don't want your generation to be like mine. Okay. You guys have the potentials. Now, I still have a lot of issues. Okay. Because yes, you went to Botswana, you saw a lot of vibrant young African leaders. Okay. But those people you were with were maybe within the 1%. Okay. Africa has a lot of people, 1.23 billion people. Okay. So if we want to move Africa forward, we need to get hundreds of millions of people be with you guys, driving Africa forward. Now, I have noticed that because I talked to a lot of people, okay, mostly on the internet. I'm in UK, so I belong to a few fora of young Africans, and I comment on posts, I write some posts, but I've realized that you guys are not fully ready, okay, to do the work to develop Africa. Okay. Now, we have limited, inadequate education. That's one thing we lack. One thing that's holding us back. Okay. See, I don't see a lot of people who are inquisitive. In fact, I've been on Facebook. I commented on a video about reading, and the kind of pushback I have received from a lot of people on my post. My comments have attracted maybe close to 200 comments. 99% of those comments are negative. And now, what did I say? I said, because the video was about the way we're trained, we're not encouraged to read, blah, blah, blah. Okay, maybe so. And I said, well, now We can read anything. So no matter how you were trained, you today can wake up, go to a bookshop, pick up any book, okay? Even the books that the people who trained us didn't want us to read, you can read them today. So let's do that. That's what I said. Okay, now, can you imagine many people coming out, abusing me, calling me all manner of things, just because I told you we can do that. Okay. So
that's something it's sad, in all fairness. It's sad because those kind of comments should actually spark up conversations around ways to maximize the opportunities we have. A lot of people choose to dwell in the past.
Yeah,
a lot of people choose to dwell in the past. I hear a lot of people telling me, I think I wrote about it, not I think, yeah, I wrote about it some few days ago, right? How that whenever I talk to people and I explain to them how I'm convinced that Nigeria is going to be great again and Africa is going to be great and that we're going to change the world. A lot of people don't believe it. And they keep telling me how it would take, the whole of the citizens to be able to do that, that one person cannot do it, it's difficult, and we know everybody, and all of that. So I keep telling them, Sean Baker said something. He said, I'm not everyone, but I am someone. I cannot do everything, but I can do something. And I will not, because I can't do everything, choose to not do the one that I can
do.
Yes, so
very good.
If we must break through, if we must expand, if we must actually become better, we must have that mindset to stop dwelling in the past, right? A lot of things have happened. The first industrial revolution, the second industrial revolution, the third industrial revolution has taken place.
This is they're in the fourth one now.
We are in the fourth industrial revolution, and a lot of our systems are still based on the first and the second industrial revolution. As sad as it is, it's the reality. If we keep sitting and saying, we did not join the industrial revolution, we did not join the industrial revolution, we'll go past this fourth and get to the fifth and we'll still not caught up. And of all industrial revolutions, I believe this particular revolution is the one that favors young Africans the most.
Okay.
Because we have all it takes to break into the revolution that is going on right now and maximize it. Internet of Things, artificial intelligence, the boom of technology right now is at our fingertips because we can comprehend what is going on. We have opportunities to learn it. We do not have as much infrastructural restrictions as there were with other industrial revolutions. So this is actually our opportunity to literally break in and advance. And I've chosen to see things from the brighter side of it. I know that there are a lot of young people who have not caught into what's going on right now. But when I look back, 2017, when I actually caught the fire of what I'm doing right now, we were far fewer than we are today.
Okay.
Like far fewer than we are today. Like back then, it would take me talking to maybe 50 to 100 young people before I'll get someone who shares the passion that I carry. But it's no longer that way today. I know it's possible that my network has changed.
Exactly.
I know. Okay. I know. I actually captured that in my frame of thought. But at the same time, I have conversed with a very vast spectrum of young people. Okay. I've engaged a lot of young people. And as much as I don't get so many people, I get more than I used to get before. Right now, I stay and I get messages in as DMs asking me to mentor them, young people. Like, I'm so passionate about leadership. I'm passionate about entrepreneurship. I want to help change Africa. Please, could you be my mentor? I read your post. I read your article. I saw your video. I heard your podcast. Please, can you mentor me? It wasn't like that before, right? And that's really encouraging.
Yeah.
And I think we should focus on that area and use the strength of that advantage to push to the other side, right? We need to keep sharing the information that there is hope for Africa. I keep mentioning this book, Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl.
Yeah, still on my table.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I always talk about that book because that book revolutionized the way I think.
Okay.
Like, if there's a will to, a how to can never, ever be a problem. And the reason, one of the major reasons, if you know, you've read that book, you remember when his friend, you know, back in the containment camp was telling him that it's possible to actually make it through this place.
Yeah.
Just that information sparked fire in the heart of Victor. And, you know, for some reasons, he was able to pull through. I think we need to just keep sharing the message. Podcast platforms like yours, hosting young Africans, needs to keep going viral. Yeah. Content on social media needs to keep going viral. Young people must be brought into the conversation. We need to keep organizing conferences and summits and virtual events that keep enforcing to young people that something is going to happen. You are responsible for that change to occur. Get ready. This is how you need to get ready. These are the things you need to do. And before we know it, we'll get to that point where we're looking for. Do you know, speaking of, you know, what happened to me in Botswana, I made a friend from Namibia, made a friend from Zimbabwe, made a friend from Kenya, made a friend from Rwanda, right? And I was speaking to them about their countries. The information we have about Zimbabwe from Nigeria is actually very different from what's actually happening in Zimbabwe. The information we have about what's happening in Namibia, the information they have about what's happening in Nigeria, very, 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 very different.
Yeah.
Now, I think that for some reasons, mainstream media, individuals have amplified the sad stories.
Yeah, the negatives.
Exactly. And for some reasons, pushed it out to the world. And that is something we must endeavor to rewrite. It has a lot it does to the mind. You know, a certain young lady I met in Botswana told me that I'm the first male Nigerian of my age range that she has had a conversation with for up to 5 minutes. That normally when she encounters anybody and gets the idea that this person is a Nigerian, she doesn't spend more, like the conversation doesn't go past hello, hi, and she moves on because of everything she has heard about Nigerian men.
Yeah.
And I had to ask her, I'm Nigerian, I'm a man, what is it? And till date, we're friends, we keep talking, we're conversing, right? That's, we need to keep pushing the right narratives about us. And that's part of the reasons why I really enjoyed Adebola Williams' session at the Forbes Summit. Adebola Williams spoke at the summit, and what he said was really striking. So if you know Adebola Williams of Red Media, he always comes in white agbada and his red Yoruba cap, right? And he said that's how he travels all around the world. Everywhere he goes to for official functions, he needs to let them know that he's Nigerian. In fact, a Yoruba Nigerian. And this is the identity of Nigerians. We are good, we are sound, we are rich, we are intelligent, and we are good people. And we are very proud. And, you know, he sent a very striking message to me that it's our responsibility to keep sharing the right message. We can't leave it to anybody.
Yeah.
Right? Now, I'm more interested. Since I came back, I've been like, oh yeah, I want to go to Namibia. I want to visit Rwanda. I want to go to Kenya. Because of the things that I've heard from the people in these places that I communicated with.
Yeah.
And I think this is the same thing that will keep happening if we make it our responsibility to spread the right narratives. Let our trends on Twitter not always be, you know, when there are killings or when there's a challenge in some place, or we're trying to drag a certain celebrity, or we're dragging a pastor, or these things might sound like or seem like they are insignificant. Well, we're just playing over social media, but we're actually sending a message to the world and they are receiving it. So we need to become intentional, literally intentional with our communication. Jordan Peterson said, you have to add life to the words that you speak. You have to mean them. Intentionally curate your words and articulately convey them, because everything you're saying, it's more like you're transferring life to the other person.
Absolutely.
The Bible says, the words I speak to you, they are spirit and life, right? It's literally that way. So I think beyond the conventional education through all of the platforms that, digital platforms and normal platforms that we're talking about, it is high time we begin to let Africans know that we have to be our own media publicists. We need to spread the right narrative about Africa. We need to spread the right narrative about our individual nations and communities to the world. We need to communicate with other people in surrounding nations, know exactly what's happening in their regions, get to understand the values, the beauties of their system, and be able to talk about them. And that way we'll keep growing.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. See, for us to be able to do this, okay, then that thing called education. Okay. Now, education is not about going to university, collect multiple degrees. No, that's not it. Okay. See, you might only have a secondary school certificate. Okay. But what you learned from the secondary school, you use it at the highest level, and you continue educating yourself by picking up books. See, this is the thing that the biggest challenge I have with Africans. Okay, let's leave the old ones, young Africans. Okay, just to encourage them to pick up a book, like I told you on the conversation I'm having on Facebook. See, every one of us can pick up a book. So how can we encourage our people to pick up a book? It's a big challenge. I'm telling you, because I have tried. Okay. They don't want to. See, they will always give you why they can't. See, that thinking I can't is a big deal. Why they can't.
Yeah.
And I have never heard why they can. It's always why they can't. And one of the things, oh, who wrote the book? Hello, it doesn't matter who wrote the book. If you read it and you think what the information you got in that book is not accurate, I'm sure there's another author who have written on that subject. Pick up other authors on that subject. Read multiple authors on that subject. You see, one thing I've seen is that, and this is something that I think we need to handle. Many young Africans don't want to read books authored by Westerners. You see, unfortunately, they don't understand that this is how the world works. Before the Westerners became literate, right? The Arabs were the main people who are writing a lot of books on science, philosophy, okay, and other things.
Yeah.
Now, the Westerners, the Europeans, read all the things that the Arab philosophers and scientists wrote. And then they expanded on those things. So for us to catch up, we need to read the things that the Europeans wrote, that the Chinese wrote, that the Indians write. Okay, because those are the foundation. Okay, for us, read them. Maybe if you want to get into that space, get into it, do your research, and then write a book. Okay, do your research and write a book. We don't want to do that. Now, you talked about technology. See, technology is fantastic. Okay, technology is fantastic. But for me, yes, technology is good, but the foundation of this technologies are basic science. See, if Africa wants to be relevant, then we need to focus in school, in our universities, focus on basic science. See, unfortunately, in my time, I don't know what happens now. The people who go and study physics, mathematics, chemistry, biology, microbiology, biochemistry,
geophysics.
Yes, are those who wanted to study engineering, medicine, pharmacy, and they don't meet the cutoff, and then they finally say, okay, let me take physics, let me take mathematics. My brother, that is the wrong way to do things. In the developed world, the people who study mathematics, chemistry, biology are so see, in the developed world, the best students, the best of the best science students study physics, study mathematics, the very best. So my point is this: we need to encourage young Africans to study basic science. Now, engineering, perfect. Medicine, great. Pharmacy, great.
Law, great.
See, they're good, but we need to let them know that the foundation of any science discipline are the most important. See, if we only study computer science, that I'm sure that course is dead now, because it's so diverse that people pick one simple a small section of computer science to study. Okay, in the old days, instead of studying, everybody is rushing to do computer science, rushing to do chemical engineering, rushing to do mechanical engineering. Let young people rush to study chemistry, to study biochemistry, to study microbiology, to study physics, to study the king of everything, mathematics.
Well, truth is, I think there are a lot of angles to evaluate if we must drive home this particular point. The reason is because these courses that you mentioned are very, very necessary for research-based processes.
No, not just research. is the fundamentals of any technology at all.
Exactly. That's exactly what I'm saying. You know, we are currently a consuming society. We're a consuming economy, right?
Yeah.
We get things fully baked or half baked.
Yeah.
And then consume it fully baked or half baked. That's actually how we run our processes. And the simple thoughts in the mind of every young Nigerian who is moving from high school to the university is not research, it's not creation. It's actually, how do I get a job, right?
Yeah.
How do I get a job? How do I get a job? Now, the institutions that we have, very few of them employ people who graduated with these disciplines that we're mentioning, right? It seems there are tons of people who studied pure sciences, pure and applied sciences. And after graduating, they are finding it really difficult to get their hands on anything at all.
Yeah.
So we need to actually overhaul the system from top to the bottom, right? Once we begin to encourage research, encourage development, innovative development, right? Where we have hubs, where we have factories, where we have institutes for productions, right? That's when you get people who study these pure courses and they are able to experiment several things that are available to create solutions, to create products, to create services. Unfortunately, that's not the way the mind of a young Nigerian, let me start from there, is conditioned. The young Nigerian right now is looking for a way to break into something that will help him or her make money. Do you know that most people who are in education in other parts of the world are in education because they are passionate about education? They don't care. They get offers that will pay them 4 times, 5 times better than what their education career is paying them. And they choose not to switch. Why? Because they tell you they want to contribute to the body of knowledge. That's a very common phrase when you leave the shores of Africa.
Let me give you one example.
Yeah.
When I first came to this country, to the UK, I was working in Canary Wharf in financial services. One of my friends was an African who was working in product development it's an asset management company.
Okay.
The guy has a PhD in mathematics.
Wow.
Yeah. And all he does is modeling. PhD in mathematics. He didn't know anything about asset management. No, but he came. They tell him this is he models it for them, creates the model, and they test it, and then they create a product.
You see,
models
so
that he does.
He was able to see a place where he could put his knowledge to use.
There are many product companies, different kind of product companies that hire a lot of mathematicians to create models. See, any place where you hear, oh, they create models, all they have are mathematicians. Okay, mathematicians. They work with people in that space to create products.
Well, these that you mentioned are in the UK, right?
Yeah.
How many young Africans do you get the opportunity to, leave the shores of their nation, leave the shores of their country? I'm not being a pessimist here. I'm just saying, right, that the need for what you're talking about is eminent. It can't even be. In fact, I'm working on a content right now. The title that the content has right now So sometimes I start with a particular title, then before I publish,
Yeah.
let's change the title. Yeah. So the title that the content has now is, why are we not producers of technology? Why are we majorly consumers?
Okay. See, and I'll give the answer. The answer is this: before you are able to produce, you need to understand the fundamentals.
Exactly. So that is captured in my content, right? And I understand it because it is the truth. We need to understand rudimentarily the way things function. Understand what lapses, what gaps exist in those functionalities. That's the only way we can become innovative.
Yeah. So you're saying.
So the truth is that this gap exists, right? And we must come to the point where we encourage young people to become research oriented.
Yeah.
To understand how things function, identify gaps, and become innovative in ways to fill that gap. I was conversing with a friend last month and I said, we are all enjoying AI right now. We're all enjoying the beauties of programming. It was a human being that wrote programming languages. And I'm so excited about one of my friends who is actually on a project to writing his own programming language, right?
Okay.
Because the way we have Python, the way we have Java,
yeah.
He's trying to create his own programming language.
That's good.
Yes, and I'm like, phenomenal, right? That's the way we need to start thinking. One of the contents I wrote on LinkedIn lately, I said, we have to become innovative to understand how to solve our problems. You know, foreigners can choose to give us solutions that solve our problems. But the truth is, if we are creatives, when we become creatives, no one will be able to solve our problems as good as we can, because the African adage says, he who wears the shoe knows where it pinches, right?
Yes.
So we actually are the ones wearing the shoe. We know where it pinches. We know how to tailor our solution. We don't need consultants to do that. We don't need.
Now, do you know one thing we need to do that?
Do tell.
Data. See, this is another area where we are lacking. Okay, and I will tell you, the companies like Google, all these foreign companies, Facebook, Google, whatever they're called, right? They have more data on us than our local institutions.
Yes, it's true. It's true. That's because they give us value in exchange for our
data. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
See, for us to solve problems that we have, we need to gather the data, because without the data, we are still in the dark. We are telling ourselves what we think, but data will actually confirm if what you think is true.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the thing, right? We are making good progress when it comes to data, actually.
Okay, that's good.
I'm in the data space. So I can tell, right? My line of work right now, part of the projects that I'm doing, they are highly data intensive.
Okay,
and I can tell you, there's a revolution when it comes to data in Africa. We've understood the sense that data is the new oil, and we're cashing into it real quick, real fast. Okay. Nevertheless, we need to understand how best to maximize. You know, I always say it, you have to begin something with the end in mind. Begin with the end in view, right? Let all of our processes be geared towards this same goal of moving us from consumption to actually production, right? We need to become ingenious and indigenous solution providers.
Good.
So we need to create indigenously generated ingenious solutions. We need to be able to understand how things operate, see the gaps that are existent in those operations, and begin to.
What's the title?
How the world really works.
Good. See, this book, I'm reading it right now. It's interesting, very, very interesting. I brought it out to show you. I recommend it. I recommend it to you.
Yeah. I'm trying to order it right away. Okay. Yeah. So that's actually where we are. And my joy is that we are making progress.
Yeah.
We are actually making progress.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, we are really making progress. I know the percentage is not encouraging at the moment.
No. See, the point is this: if we start, okay, I will tell you. See, data collection, data analysis, can create 100,000 jobs in Nigeria.
Yeah.
Okay, because every company need data analysts. Every company, every school, every university need data analysts. Okay, so in the data space, we can create 100,000 jobs. Yeah. I mean, I'm even maybe more. Yeah.
More. 1,001 jobs actually.
So
more. Definitely.
That's
it boils down to that sense of purpose, right?
Yeah.
What I was talking about with respect to sense of purpose. Why exactly am I doing this? You know, I always talk about mindset, if you've noticed.
Yeah.
I'm always like, the mind is powerful, right? NF said the mind is a powerful place, and what you do with it can affect you in a powerful way. And it is very true, right? Because so many people are actually learning, you know, platforms like Ingressive for Good, platforms like Data Camp, several data platforms actually right now in the country are empowering thousands, hundreds of thousands of young people with data skills. But why do you want to study data analysis? Why do you want to study data science? Tech is booming. It's a window for me to jackpot. It's an opportunity for me to escape. I need this. The reasons are different, right? My friend Steven uploaded his status 2 days ago, and he was like, can we stop celebrating work anniversaries in big tech companies and start looking for ways to create more functional tech companies that will employ more people? Because the truth is, my research is showing me that we're having more talent in the tech space in Nigeria.
Yeah.
More than the platforms to absorb these people. That's scary, right? And it's part of the reasons that I'm writing the content that I'm writing now on creating why we are not like technology producers, you know, why we're consumers. That's the same thing with respect to what you're saying now about the data space, right?
Yeah.
If young people can see that, okay, the defense sector, the finance sector, the healthcare sector, there's
everywhere
solutions, right? And where I've learned how to become, how to analyze data. I've learned data science. I've learned this. I've learned that. I want to create a startup on data collection in Nigeria, even if it is just for my local government, even if it is just for one sector of the economy, and begin to work towards. It's difficult, but it's doable. I always say it's hard, but it can happen, right?
Yes.
So it all boils down to the mind, and that is why we'll keep giving that instrument of information to young people to make them understand that we have a lot of, oh my God, there's boundless opportunities in Africa. We have myriads of opportunities to scale. I know that we have a lot of systems in place that are making these opportunities difficult to access. Yes, but we must break through. Like, we have to push in if we must break through. And we can.
Yeah.
Truth is, we can, right? Yeah. So what I normally encourage is, you were speaking about reading the other time, and I wanted to mention it. And Ideas Worth Billions, right? We have the Bridge program. The Bridge program is, in short, part of the key activities of the Bridge program is book reading, monthly book reading, 4 books every month, 1 every week. You are followed up, you are backed up you have a mentor, you have a coach that is guiding you through your reading, journey to ensure that you gain value from it. Phronesis, my friend is the founder of Phronesis. Phronesis is a readers club. Phronesis is a readers club, right? You should actually check him out.
Yeah.
Daniel Ejiofor, he's good. His community is expanding.
See, I want him on the podcast to talk about that. Yeah.
Daniel Ejiofor, you can check him out. He's good.
No, you tell him. You tell him and then give me his
That's fine. Perfect. I'm going to do that. It's completely fine, right? So then
reading club, I want to encourage people to read. Yes.
In fact, I have to, right? A male and a female. There's Daniel Ejiofor for Phronesis Readers Club. Then there's Grace Field. Grace Field is the founder at Glee Readers Club, right?
Okay.
So very good. They are doing amazing work. They make reading fun, right? For a lot of young people. Okay, so it's exciting. Why I brought this up is to encourage us, yourself and the listeners on the platform, that things are happening. Information and awareness is becoming more and more an instrument for us to drive the change. And we can't just stop. We have to keep giving it in. We have to keep pushing. We have to keep spreading the word that this is the path to our growth and development, and we must work it, right? And with that, I'm very sure we'll do well. I'm looking forward to having a recap in the next 5 years, right? I can tell you what happened in 2017 when I started, right? And this is 2023.
Yeah.
So it's been a long journey.
Yeah.
And it's more like, when an airplane is trying to take off, you need to gain a lot of momentum before you take off and you begin to glide. And I'm just so excited about the future. It looks so bleak right now to a lot of people who don't see what I'm seeing.
Yeah.
But I'm really excited about the future, right? Young people are going to shock the world. I mean, young Africans, they are going to shock the world. These guys, their ideas are crazy. We are no longer waiting for the systems to favor us. We are creating systems that will favor us. We are going out of the bands of our reach to expand our work, to ensure that we are bringing other people to come and join what we're doing. And it's only a matter of time before it becomes a wildfire. And I'm so excited, and I'm grateful to God for the privilege He granted me to be able to cash in on time to this, opportunity to impact, the life of young people.
Yeah.
Because it is key. It is really key, right? It is really, really key. So I keep encouraging young people anywhere. I say, it seems like your work is not noticed now. Trust me, you're sowing a seed that will live forever. The 2-3 people in your community, the 4-5 people that you've been able to influence, you've been able to impact, you don't even know the potential and capacity of these people, right? So just keep giving it your best. Keep doing what you have to do. Over time, it will shock you as to how much progress you've made. Yeah.
So say the last time you were here, we talked a lot about leadership,
Yeah.
And your take was powerful. Okay. You did say you said that something about we put people in office, we expect them to be leaders, but leaders, actually, people who aspire for leadership position should already be leaders.
Yeah, positions don't make leaders, actually.
Good. That's the point. Okay.
Yeah.
So tell my young audience how to acquire leadership skills and abilities, so that when they now start looking to be raised up
into offices,
they are ready.
Interesting. Thank you. Concept of leadership is something I enjoy talking about so much.
I know.
It resonates with me, very much. And the truth is, everyone needs to understand. I mean, literally everyone listening to me right now needs to understand that they are leaders.
Yeah.
You are already a leader. That sense of responsibility is what changes everything, right? You need to know that you're a leader and you have responsibilities. And that begins with personal leadership. I always draw my insight of leadership from personal leadership, right? Somewhere in the Bible, it says, if the blind leads the blind, both of them will fall into the ditch.
Yes, sir.
And that's the truth. You need to understand first that as an individual, I'm a leader. How well am I able to lead myself? How well am I able to coordinate my activities? How well am I able to be responsible for my growth, be responsible for my failures, be responsible for my development, be responsible for my losses? Most times, young people have this mindset of always looking for someone to blame for everything. I didn't pass an exam, the lecturer was wicked. I didn't get the job, the recruiter was not nice. He just saw my face and he did not like me. I couldn't make it to the meeting. Oh, Nigeria is bad. The road is bad. Government is wicked, right? As much as there are senses of reason to some of these excuses, we must learn to understand that we actually have the right, we have the power, we have the opportunity. Three things: right, power, and opportunity to create the kind of changes that we need to create. A leader is a person who knows the way,
Yeah.
and is able to lead others through that way. Simply put, right? You need to know the way, and you need to be able to help others get to that way and go through that way. So when you've been able to explore the power of leadership from a personal perspective, you will know what your strengths are, you will know what your weaknesses are, you will know what you need to develop yourself on, you will know what to seek other people's help for. These little things, in quotes, little in quotes, right, are the things that make up the foundations of a good leader. They are really complex forms of leadership, right?
Yeah.
Global governance. In fact, the concept of governance, right? There are complications to it. There are rules and laws to it. That's a broader, topic. If I'm speaking to that kind of an audience, there's a way we frame that conversation. But the truth is, it all boils down to what needs to be done. How can it be done, right? Understanding that I'm responsible for this set of work to be done. This is how it has to be done. These are the things I need to do. Now, this, all I've said now, is a matter of the mind. It is this yearning, this knowledge, this awareness that will now drive you to the books you read, that will now drive you to the people you listen to, that will drive you to seeking opportunities to exercise that mindset that you already have inside of you, right? Not minding how good or how powerful a supercar is. It is useless parked in the garage, right?
Yeah.
Sitting there in the garage, it's really dormant. You need to take it for a ride, take it for a spin, okay? And that's the same thing. When the supercar has been built, when that character has been built, when that mindset has been built in you as a leader, you need to launch out. You need to begin to take up little responsibilities from your home, your friends, your siblings, your family, your workplace, your teams that you're managing. And when there's intentionality, as you grow these skills, you will notice that the more you do, the better you become, because you already have a background as to how to progress, what to do, how to go about it. You know the right questions to ask. You know how to get the answers for what you don't know. That's a very key aspect of being an exceptional, productive person. It's fine not to know something, but do you know how to get to know that thing you don't know? That's a very important question, right? So these processes begins to lead you through the ladders of leadership. And here is the interesting fact. The world is in need of leaders. So whenever a person builds these qualities, the universe, as it were, begins to give you opportunities to actually use it.
Exercise them. Yeah.
So much. It is so bad that the reason why we have so many bad people in leadership position, I always keep saying it. I don't think there's something like a bad leader, because every leader is meant to be good in the context of the use of word, right? But I get when people say bad. So I prefer to say bad people in
leadership.
Yes. Yeah. So when you notice that there are people who are not meant to be leaders who occupy leadership position, it's because those who were meant to be leaders did not work their ways to occupying those positions. Every human, every system, every community is seeking good leadership, because it is really, really necessary. Now, I've said it, and I'm sure everyone listening to me now is thinking about communities, thinking about state, thinking about, I'm actually talking about you as a person. The person called you is in need of good leadership. If there are areas of your life that you're not doing well, it's because there's a yearning on your inside that says, I need you to lead me right. I need you to be responsible. I need you to be disciplined. I need you to have integrity. I need you to be consistent. And it comes from that point. And when we begin to build it from that, we begin to get opportunities to occupy other offices that will give us a wider audience, a wider opportunity to better lead those leadership qualities that we have. Yeah.
Wow. Powerful. Very powerful. Thank you for that. To follow up with that, many Africans, both young and old, say that the developed countries are holding Africa back from development. Now, I don't fully agree. I say the word fully, because I do understand that, yes, some of the things that the developed countries are doing are not necessarily to our interest, but to their own interest. Okay? But
can you really blame them for that?
No, I don't. See, that's the point. I do not.
Right.
Okay? I do not. See, a lot of people think that those countries should be doing things that we want. Okay? That's not how the world works. Okay? They're doing the things the way they want it because it favors them. Yeah. But I do not believe that the things they are doing are the things that is actually holding us down. Like you said, we need to take leadership of ourselves, our communities, and our countries. That's my thinking. That's my own my thinking. What do you think?
It is true, right? I remembered something while you were speaking. There's an Igbo adage. I wish I could say it in Igbo. It will pass the message.
No,
more.
Say it in Igbo.
Okay,
then translate.
Okay, so an Igbo adage says, "Onye kpo obo ya mkpokoro."
Okay.
What it means is, when you call your backyard a dump stand, your neighbor will pour trash on it.
Woo!
That's an Igbo adage, an Igbo proverb, right? And that is the truth. The degree of value, the measure of value someone else will attach to you or your property or your stuff is actually the measure of value that we've conveyed to that person. So we could keep saying that Western nations are using us well.
Now China.
Well, it's
very soon India.
Because we are very usable, right? If we are not usable, they wouldn't use us, right? But I always believe in the concept of win-win conversations, win-win negotiations, win-win deals, win-win. There's always a win-win approach to it.
Yeah.
The abundance mentality that Stephen Covey talks about, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, is something that I love and I practice. The truth is, we are at a point where we need foreign help, not for the things we think we need their help for, not for loans, not for taking our people and educating them and keeping them in their countries and not letting them come back, not for those kind of things. We actually need their help because they've gone steps ahead of us. We need to see what they are doing and learn from them. We can't deny that fact, right? But we need to come up to that point where we are responsible for our growth and development. At the best, what we're having from other people is help, right? We're not selling ourselves to them in exchange for that help. And it boils down to the people we have in leadership positions. They need to understand the power of our value. We know we have a lot of things we've gotten wrong before now, but we can start getting things right. We need to understand that we have our values. We have things that favor us. We have qualities that we can actually exchange. If you say you want to take our this, we should be able to tell you, well, we are going to allow you to do this if you are going to do this for us. It has to be a win-win negotiation because they need you. If they don't need you, they won't come to you.
Exactly.
And the fact that they need you, you should be able to leverage on the premise of that knowledge and exchange it for something good for yourself.
Economics.
Exactly. So we can't keep relying on the things that has happened some 50 years, 60 years, 70 years ago and bind ourselves by ourselves saying that they did. Who are the people that are even holding you? The systems that make up this bondage in quotes were created by humans, most of whom are dead. And here we are trying to allow ourselves remain in the shackles of that bondage. No. And the truth is that this bondage started in our minds. As soon as we can start breaking off those bondages in our minds, the better for us. I mean, for young people, so that when they get into places of leadership, they will be able to negotiate right. Yeah. Because it's a matter of negotiation. You come to the table and you are able to talk things out. This is the way things are, and we understand it, right? I was listening to a certain African leader. I don't remember whom exactly it was. It was a government setting. They were foreigners, probably people who were investing in the country.
I hope you're going to say, yeah. Okay, go on.
Yeah, those who are investing in the country, right? So they were talking about, so seems like I'm paraphrasing now, but the message I'm trying to pass is actually the same thing as what I watched in that video. So it's like an aid, right? So they are trying to bring an aid to the country.
Yeah.
And in the process of bringing that aid, they are going to be harvesting certain things and they're going to be taking it outside of that country and then process it and bring it back to that country and sell it in as a matter or as a concept of that agreement for that aid. And I heard their leader in that setting, in that forum, arguing with them. He said, no, I don't think I want something like this for my people. You said you're bringing an aid for us. And for instance, mangoes and oranges. You are harvesting our mangoes and oranges. And you are taking them outside of our country. You process them and you bring it back to our country to sell to us. You are not actually helping us. So if you are providing aid for us, let it be holistic. Bring your factories down. Bring your machineries down, right? Set them up here. Train our people. Let them know how to harvest oranges and process them. And we can use those oranges for our uses. Then we can sell it within ourselves as well. If you want some oranges, we could give you some oranges, but don't come, take our oranges, go process, bring back. When you live here at the end of this aid contract, we can't process oranges. We don't know how to harvest them. We don't know how to get the juices. It does not make sense. Now, that was the conversation that transpired in that setting. And I'm very sure it pulled through. Imagine if it were a leader who did not understand the value of his people and who did not know the power of negotiation. What would that leader have done? Oh, thank you. You are bringing an aid for us. Oh, it's fine.
and that's been what has been going on in Africa for a long time.
Exactly. So because we're discussing on a platform where there are young people listening, this is the approach I'm taking, right? Educating on understanding value and the power of negotiation, right? Very key. But if we are talking to the people who are already in positions right now, we'll have to take a diplomatic approach.
Yes.
Right? To educate these people, to let them understand how we can actually leverage. Because I know there are a lot of indices at play here. There is debt. We have a debt backlog.
Yeah.
There are a lot of things. There are a lot of economic indices that are, considered before decisions of this nature get, carried out. But there's always a caveat. I am very sure there's always a caveat where we can bring in this concept and practice it for the good of our people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, thanks, man. Yes. What's the other one I want to? Yes. Well, this one, I think we've already dealt with it. So I'll skip it.
Okay, which is that?
Yeah. I wanted to ask you your biggest concern about Africa's development in the 21st century.
Well, my greatest concern is to have young people get involved early and on time. Yes, I need a lot of young people to come in on time. Hearing that the population of Africa will get 30% more than it is right now in the next couple of years.
Yeah.
It's something exciting and really scary at the same time. So we really need to, I'm really, really concerned that not as much young people are involved as they are meant to be.
Okay.
And that is what part of the fuel powering the jet of my mission, to keep reaching out to young people through all platforms as much as I can, right?
Yeah.
We need to keep communicating to young people that this is the state of things, and we have a task on our hands right now, and we need to get this done. It starts with Nigeria, starts with every populous nation of Africa. We need to know that we have an opportunity, we have a responsibility, and we have an ability to transform our nations and to transform our continent as a whole. That's my greatest concern right now. That's my greatest concern for Africa right now.
I mean, getting young people involved, getting young people educated, and getting young people to take responsibility is the biggest thing that we need to push. And like I showed you, I like to read. If you have the opportunity to look around me, all I have around me are books everywhere. Okay, so I like to read, and I like my audience to read. Okay, so as a reader, please recommend 5 books, okay, to my audience to add to the library.
5 books. Okay. So to make this easier for me, I'm going to section them. My work is around business, leadership, and technology.
Okay.
Right? So I'm going to give 2 books on personal development.
Okay.
1 book on leadership, 1 book on business, and 1 book on technology. I think that should work. And I'm sure I've talked about 2 of those books, right? Man's Search for Meaning by Ejiofor, a must read, right? 7 Habits of Highly Effective People.
Yeah, up there.
Oh, perfect. By
Stephen.
Covey. Yeah. Then those are the 2 on personal development.
Okay.
On business, this is tricky. I think so far I've read a lot of powerful business books, but I think Eric Ries's book resonates.
Which one?
Eric Ries's book.
Title?
No. Okay, let me go with Personal MBA by Geoff Kaufman.
Okay.
Yes, Personal MBA by Geoff Kaufman. That book, literally, while I was reading that book, I nearly got to a point where I felt like, do I really need to get an MBA? Josh broke down business to the tiny bits and helped couple it back to, a whole unit again. And it was really an impactful book for me. I really, really recommend that book. And I think that book does not get as much credit as it's meant to. And it's possibly because most people who read it will not like to get an MBA.
Well, I mean, so, if you don't read it, don't do it.
Yeah,
I will tell you. I will tell you, if I had read that book earlier, I wouldn't have an MBA today.
Wow. Well, it was convincing, though. I just finished my MBA at the Ekene Institute last week.
Okay.
And I could understand why Josh would say, don't spend so much money on.
I mean, if I read that book and what's his name? Rich Dad Poor Dad is the 4 quadrants.
Okay. Yeah, 4 quadrants.
If I read those books earlier in my life, in my 20s, why would I get an MBA? No.
Yeah, I think so. The thing I learned from my personal experience, right? The knowledge is powerful.
Yeah.
Right. Then there is something about an MBA, especially for a platform like the Ekene Institute, where I had my MBA. Network.
Okay.
Is powerful. Network is powerful. Network of people you're going to be connecting with. I think that's what people should really evaluate when they are choosing where to do their MBAs.
MBA, okay.
Yes. The alumni network is powerful.
Okay.
Then case study evaluations is really, really powerful.
Okay.
Talking about what is happening in the moment, how it's happening in the moment, how you can use the knowledge and understanding of business principles, economic matrices, and leadership qualities to manage business problems and solve business problems.
Okay.
Right? Yeah, because business problems are actually people problems, because the business is hinged on the consumer. The consumer is a person. So all of that. But that book is a powerful read, right?
Okay. So two more for
then on audience. Tech, I think that's where I'll bring Eric Ries in. Eric's book, The Lean Startup, is a good book. Yeah, for those who are going into technology. Then obviously Leadership, The Art of War by Sun Tzu.
Okay.
That's a phenomenal book on leadership. If you can just take your time and consume that book, it brings leadership from the inside out, right? It tells you how to guard yourself, how to, know who you are, build up all of your ikangas and, and be able to unleash it out to the world. So it's a really powerful book. So yeah, I'll go with 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. Just to recap, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People by Stephen Covey, Viktor Frankl's Man's Search for Meaning, Josh Kaufman's Personal MBA, Eric Ries, The Lean Startup, and the Sun Tzu, Art of War by Sun Tzu.
Good.
Yeah, those are my top 5.
Wow. Ebo, nice to have you on the platform again.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm sure my audience will totally consume mind outpour. Okay, because and I'm happy you enjoyed your summits in Botswana, and keep in touch with your mates there.
Yeah,
thank you, man.
So much, Ekene, for always bringing me to the platform. It's always a joy to share with you and your community. Our work in Africa, and yes, I'm delighted. Thank you.
Thank you, man. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.